Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Thanks for joining us. We told you about the Elmira Police Department's new survey that they hope will help them understand the needs of the community. Well, tonight, our Sonia Ellison spoke to people around town about what they would like to see the police department address in the new year.
Earlier this week, Elmira Police Department announced an online survey is available for the public to leave feedback on how they can improve their policing.
Elmira's full of crime.
In the survey, the EPD is asking Elmira residents the types of crimes they are most concerned with, as well as where in the city they're observing the most criminal activity.
East side.
Citizens can leave feedback on how they feel Elmira's police can improve their performance. For example, this resident said EPD needs to make their emergency response times faster.
I think they should do a better job of responding to people's emergency calls.
Residents can also suggest the type of crime deterrence efforts they'd like to see from the EPD moving forward.
Just keep patrolling, that's all I know.
The survey will also help the police department's GIVE program identify areas for gun violence intervention.
They do pretty good, I'm telling you.
EPD's survey will be open for 1 month or until it reaches 1,000 responses. Find it out in the Elmira Police Department Facebook page or through the link on your screen. Sonia Ellison, Big Fox News, Elmira.
Governor Hochul has presented her newest proposed budget. The governor says the $233 billion budget is an increase of 4.5% year over year. The budget includes $40 million to crack down on the rise of retail theft. Also included in the budget is what the governor is calling the highest level of education funding in the state history at over $35 billion. Wellsboro's annual Winterfest at Hills Creek State Park is this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Enjoy winter fun like sledding, ice fishing, solar viewing, skiing, snowshoe excursions, kids crafts, wild tea program, and educational displays like a hot tent demo. The event is free, but bring your own sled. Free hot chocolate and hot dogs for free while supplies last. For more information, call the number on your screen or go to stepoutdoors.org. Local animal rescue group All Tales Rescue hosting an arts and craft fundraiser this Sunday at the Arnott Mall from noon to 5. A $10 donation to benefit All Tales Rescue will get you into the event. There will be music and live entertainment, face painting, crafts, a pet photo booth, and much more. Paws and Purrs will bring pets for people to adopt. Students at Broadway Elementary recently got a lesson in philanthropy. The Community Foundation of Elmira, Corning, and the Finger Lakes completed a 3-day workshop at the school, teaching students about the foundation's work and the importance of grants and giving. Classes were given $100 each to donate to a deserving organization. The Glove House, Arnott NICU, and the Steele Memorial Library each received $100 from the students. President Biden and his leading Republican challenger are both juggling schedules with a busy primary calendar now fast approaching. Former President Trump is blending campaign appearances and court dates. Meanwhile, President Biden is trying to shore up support for his economic and immigration agenda. Doug Luzader has more.
Hello, New Hampshire.
Former President Trump last night at a rally in New Hampshire. It was a quick pivot from a New York courtroom earlier in the day where Trump watched jury selection in his defamation case. The judge warned him to keep quiet, and Trump later went after him.
And he's a nasty judge. He's a Trump-hating guy.
But Trump's legal woes don't seem to be hurting him. Recent polls in New Hampshire give him a double-digit lead over his closest competitor, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley.
I trust you because I know 75% of Americans have said they don't want a Trump-Biden rematch.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is coming off a second-place win in Iowa, but with a tough landscape in New Hampshire, he's banking on a resurgence in South Carolina.
I think what it says is that we consider New Hampshire, South Carolina to both be important, as well as Nevada, by the way.
President Biden, meantime, will be in North Carolina today touting the economy. But back at the White House, he is stymied on a deal to secure Ukraine funding and shore up the southern border, despite meeting with congressional leaders yesterday.
The president himself said over and over again that he is willing to move forward on border. And so we said we have to do both.
We understand the necessity about Ukraine funding, and we want to say that the status quo is unacceptable.
And without a deal to secure the border, the president's other priorities in this election year won't find much traction. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas and his handling of the U.S.-Mexico border, the focus of a House committee hearing today. House Republicans are trying to push through his impeachment, even while the rest of Congress is trying to push through billions of dollars in foreign aid. Rebecca Castor has more.
Next to the economy, it's a top issue for voters this election, border security.
What matters to me most is immigration and border control, definitely.
The securing of the border, obviously, that's a huge deal.
After a sit-down with President Biden, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say they're close to finalizing new border policy, which would also unlock emergency aid for Ukraine and Israel.
I am more optimistic than ever before that we'd come to an agreement.
I think we have some consensus around that table.
We don't know what that looks like yet, and until then, record numbers of migrants are crossing illegally into the U.S., putting the state of Texas directly at odds with the Biden White House over who controls the border. Last week, under orders from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the National Guard took over an area near the border and kicked out federal agents.
I want him to be as aggressive as he wants to be, but to coordinate and communicate with the federal government instead of doing Lone Ranger politics.
But siding with Texas, many GOP lawmakers agree the Biden administration can't manage the border crisis and blame the Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, for the surge.
If we had stricter border policies, my daughter would still be alive today.
Mayorkas faces his second and final impeachment hearing Thursday.
Do you believe Secretary Mayorkas genuinely cares about the well-being and safety of U.S. citizens like your daughter?
But it's unlikely House Republicans will be successful in removing him. The Department of Homeland Security says these impeachment efforts are a baseless political attack, and Democrats argue there is no legal basis for impeaching Mayorkas. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Alyssa is in with our complete forecast next. Plus this.
The FAA completes an initial investigation on certain Boeing planes after an incident on board an Alaska Airlines flight. I'm Marianne Rafferty in Los Angeles. I've got the details coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Well, good evening. We are going to continue to battle the snow and the cold here as we work our way into that weekend forecast. We're seeing that our next system already gearing up to spread those snow showers over the area, and we'll see that triggered as we step through the overnight. That's also going to start to filter in a northerly wind that is going to keep us on the cooler side. Now, as we roll into our forecast, note that those snow showers, as we saw, are going to start to begin by those morning commute hours. We'll stay with those light snow showers throughout much of the daytime. It's really going to be a snowy day. It should be fairly light snowfall, pretty dry snowfall as well, making it more light and fluffy, as we are going to be on the northerly side where some cold air is going to start to filter in. We'll see that as we roll through Saturday and Sunday. We also note that we stay on more of that northerly and then turn westerly side of that system, so that is going to be able to trigger times of some lake effect snowfall. So as we look at the snowfall accumulation, it does look to stay light. As mentioned, when you have that cooler, drier air filtering in from the north, that does lessen those snowfall numbers, but at times there can be some upticks and some banding features. So at least about 1 to 2 inches possible, maybe some isolated areas with a touch more accumulation, especially when it comes down to watching some areas of that lake effect that's even going to last through the Finger Lakes through about Sunday. So we'll keep a pretty snowy forecast in place. Again, highest impacts will be throughout our Friday, as that low pressure system is going to be moving to the south of us. So that's where that northerly wind is going to be able to filter in, as winds around a low pressure system are counterclockwise. So that pulls in northeasterly winds, and then as that low moves into the Atlantic, it'll bring those straight northerly winds Saturday and Sunday. So that's what's going to trigger some of that lake effect from Lake Ontario into those Finger Lakes through that Sunday forecast. So we'll really be in that battle of the cold and the snow all weekend long. We see that we consistently have those northerly winds by Friday afternoon up to about 20 miles per hour. So not blustery yet, but enough that you're going to start to feel that chill. With the cloud cover and those snow showers ongoing, temperatures aren't going to drop immediately. It's going to keep us pretty steady into those low, potentially topping off upper 20s for a high. So Really overall, snowy Friday, starting to feel that chill, and then we'll roll into our Saturday where those snow showers start to break up and our low temperatures will fall into those single digits and teens. Feel like temperatures even looking at dropping into below zero at some point, so layers are going to be wanted. Saturday afternoon, high temperatures only improve into those upper teens, so not a big warming trend, staying under that northerly wind, allowing for a few snow showers to shake out. And we'll note that by Saturday afternoon into Sunday, you get those 30, 35 mile per hour gusts. So one that's going to continue to keep those wind chills into those single digits above and below zero through Sunday, as well as cause for some times of some blowing and drifting snowfall and trigger some of those lake effect snow showers as well. Now, as we head into early next week, what we'll see is that southerly wind is going to return. And that's going to bring us those warming temperatures. We're even back up to near normal highs with some sunshine on Monday, but then cloud cover increases and we continue to warm with more storm systems that will pass on by.